Thank you. Welcome to our second session. Um, I hope you went through the exercise, the self-concept discovery exercise, and I hope that you discovered many true characteristics about yourself. And at this point, you're able to see yourself as the whole person that you are, and not only limited by the events that you experienced in the past. So previously, in our previous session, we were more broad. We discussed more broad about where you are now, where your business is right now, and try to discover what is holding you back from building the business to the level that you should build it. And now through this session, we are gonna go more in depth, more specific, because um, for those of you who might not been watched the first session, we said that at the basis of everything we do, it's our self-concept, the way we see ourselves. And our self-concept, it is influenced or affected by our past experiences through childhood, through the people that we met, how we've been treated, so on and so forth. And because of that, we currently have an unhealthy self-concept. And if we're not able to develop a healthy self-concept, we will not be able to grow, to become the person that we want to become, to grow the business at the level where we want it to grow. So, Q, how did you find going through the self-concept discovery exercise?
Alexandra, I felt so great. I feel like I walked away with so much healthier perspective and I started seeing myself in a completely different light. For example, every
Mm,
time I walked away from, doing a lot of work that I do regarding my coaching business, there was
mm,
a part of me that would keep me extremely anxious. It would keep me on edge. It would say, maybe we need to go back and do more. Maybe we haven't done enough. Maybe we haven't done
mm,
enough to become the subject matter expert. But then at the same time, I have a place, I have a baby that I need to take care of. I also have like extended family. I'm also a friend, but I never thought of it like that.
mm,
And after doing this exercise, I feel like when I walked away from doing my work and I was spending time with my family,
mhm.
the detachment piece actually felt good. There was no anxiousness attached to it because I do have other responsibilities. I am more than just a person that creates these facilitating environments for women. I'm also a mom, I'm also a friend, I'm
Yes.
also a sibling, I'm also an
Mm.
aunt, and I have future aspirations that I want to work toward. I have hobbies, I have so much more that I need to be focusing on and truly living it up and enjoying all these other experiences that come with life. So this was an amazing exercise. Like, it has completely shifted my perspective on me.
If you do want to go through this exercise, I now made it much easier for you to access it, to skip the long document format with the whole information, overwhelming information and text that you have to go through. All you have to do is to click in the link from the description. You get fast access. All you have to do is to input your information, your responses. Then everything will be analyzed for you and it will show you the responses. It will show you where you are at the minute, which attachment style you reflect, and then you'll receive prompts to guide you to your next steps. So if you want to run through the exercise, click on the link from the description and it will be a fast, much easier process for you to follow. That's the point. I'm so happy you said it because this is the exact point. Those who struggle with any attachment style, with our self-concept, it's based around, it's affected by those around us, and we tend to focus on those around us more than we focus on ourselves. Um, those with an avoidant style, they tend to rely on themselves more because they think that the world around them, it's there to hurt them, to cause pain, suffering. But still, even if they rely on themselves so much that they cannot allow anyone to get in their lives or to help with the business, to create a family, so on and so forth, the focus is still all the time on the external world because they need to be on the watch for someone who might come to hurt them. So an insecure attachment style, affect your self-concept by constantly focusing on the external. Those with anxious attachment style, they always focus on relationships, giving more and more to those around them because they think that that's the only way to keep people around them. That
Mm,
they are not enough, they don't have the skills, the abilities, and therefore they have to dedicate their life to fulfill others people's life. So those people are happy and think, okay, because you give me so much, I will stay around you. And those with disorganized attachment style, they start as with the same patterns as the anxious ones. They give so much to those around them, but the minute the people around them they say like, "Oh, you're giving me so much, so I can come, I can get closer to you," they freak out and they run away.
mm,
They're
mm,
the avoidant one.
mm.
So that's very interesting what you said, that every single time you are finishing the work around your business, coaching business, you felt like you haven't done enough yet. This is the a pure anxious attachment style around the business. You did not give yourself enough to the people, to your community. You need to create more and more and more. But about this and how we can work around it, we're gonna speak a bit later on. What I would like to do now, you said that you have written down pen and paper this exercise, is that right?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
so to make it a bit easier for both of us to follow it, I'm going to open the exercise on my computer as well. And I just want to briefly go through the steps with you. So you can tell me briefly what you written down there.
Absolutely. So once you open it up, then I can go ahead and explain it. I think the very first thing the exercise needed me to do was put my name in a circle and then create like a sun-like structure where
Yes.
I write everything about myself, which has to be my relational roles, my internal traits, my professional
Mm.
labels, my, you know, I can't read my own handwriting, my future aspirations,
Mm.
my historical, what is it? What does it say? Historical
So
what?
the first step.
Milestones, yes.
Yes. The first step was for you to write without looking any further down, was to write exactly how you see yourself without any guidance from the exercise. So the first step was to write exactly how you see yourself, and then the second phase, the exercise is giving you some prompts, some categories, relational, internal traits, professional, historical milestones, 7 of them, and then to update your self-concept. I'm curious to know what was it that you written down on your own without any the first phase.
Beautiful. So I'm actually going to go ahead and be extremely transparent. I
Okay.
said that my name is Q and
Mhm.
I'm a mom. I'm extremely personable. I'm kind. I'm caring. I'm a college graduate. I experience mood swings from time to time. I also have a tendency of getting irritated, um, uh, restless, public speaker, a friend. I have a lot of fear. I'm old school in many ways, and that's all I written down in the
Okay.
very first raw, just,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
jotting everything down from my
Okay.
subconscious to my brain. Yes.
Okay, did you put them initially into categories to see
I
which
did not.
categories that you didn't put?
So I just wrote it down, and then of course the further steps in the exercise was to basically like see which ones fit into which
Yeah, yes,
category.
yes, yes. And
And
what did you think?
so when I did that, when I did the category exercise, I looked at everything that I had written down initially, and I
Mm-hmm.
realized that majority of the things that I had written down actually had everything to do with my internal traits. I wrote 7 of them down. And
Mm-hmm.
when I came to my relational role, I only had two, a mom
True.
and a friend, and professional labels one, historical milestones one, and
Mm-hmm.
future aspirations just one.
Just one. Okay, so did you look at phase three to see where you would which one of the three profiles? I mean, four, the anxious, avoidant, disorganized. Which one out of them?
So in general, I am working toward like And in general, attachment style that I have is that I'm working toward healing my disorganized attachment.
Mm,
But with this specific exercise that I did, I fell into the anxious
anxious one.
attachment. Yeah.
That's true. Wait, right. Because yeah, it says here the signs of the will, and it's telling you which one it leans more on it. So you identified it correctly, the anxious one. And like I said, from what you mentioned previously, I need to give more. I haven't done enough. It's already showing um the anxious style. Um, and what did you do after? So the phase number 4 was for you to diversify your self-concept, to
Yes.
try to write for each one of the 7 categories, to write it down.
And basically, the next step was to expand upon these and add more,
Yes, yes, yes.
words into each category, let's put it that way. So the diagnosis came out to be that I have an anxious blueprint. I'm an overgiver. I have extremely leaky boundaries. So subconsciously tie your entire existence to erasing other people's comfort.
Mm-hmm.
I call it the Messiah complex.
Mm-hmm.
And this creates extremely leaky boundaries because, for example, this like desire to really, really help people. For example, when someone came up to me and they said, "Oh my God, your pricing was too high," I immediately, my brain went into, okay, how else can I find a way to work with them when I
Yeah,
should be standing my ground? Because I've spent a lot of time and a lot of effort into creating something that would truly help people, and they should be looking for ways to invest into their growth. I start sabotaging my own boundaries and my own systems
yeah.
to accommodate other people. And that was a very big realization that I had through this exercise. And I'm
Mm.
so glad that I did this because I think that this was a lot of the subconscious programming doing its own thing. And I never really consciously looked at anything through this light. So I'm very glad that we did that. But expanding upon the categories, Alexandra, when I did the auditing,
You're right, yeah.
relational roles, I needed to expand on those. So I am also a sister, I am a niece, I am a friend, I'm an aunt. So I expanded
Mm.
upon that. And when it came to my professional, I also volunteer. I'm a content creator. I do coaching, and I'm also a facilitator. I do speaking events from time to time. So that was my professional one that I needed to expand upon. Initially, I only scored a 1. And
Mm.
then with my historic milestones, initially only scored a 1. So when I expanded upon that, a college graduate, paid off my debt, put myself through school, achieved a GPA of 3.6 in high school, even though I was new to the country and didn't know any English. So this was back in
Bless you.
the 2006, 7, 8 that we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, got jobs, held those jobs, excelled at those jobs, did seminars and public speaking events when I was at the Michigan State University doing my undergrad. I did workshops for financial aid office when I was working for my community college. So everything that I did, I excelled on it. But because I'm so anxious and so desperate to succeed that I am like ignoring all these different aspects
Mm.
of my personality that did happen.
Absolutely. I know you for a while, but whoa, Q. What you've done in the past, your achievements, I knew about some, but congratulations to you, Q. This is absolutely amazing, and this is the power of this exercise, helping you to think clearly and look back to your past and see yourself holistically, to look at yourself as a whole person. We the When it comes about relationships, acknowledging that we're a sister, a cousin, a granddaughter, daughter, so on and so forth, it's a little bit difficult because, we live in these relationships, especially around family, and we're kind of used with them. We don't think about now I'm a sister, now I'm a granddaughter, so on and so forth. But when it comes about our accomplishments, it's so easy to brush them under the carpet, especially the big ones, and then we focus on what could go wrong, where I need to improve. I'm lacking this, I'm lacking that, I'm not good enough. And this, when you have an insecure attachment style and piling up all the time with not being good enough, not having this, lacking that, it just we we're restricting ourselves, we put ourselves in a small box where we
Mm.
can't function anymore. As although we have the skills, we can do it. It's like we're limiting, we're cutting ourselves the path in front of us. We put a barrier and says, no, that's it. This is where I stop. And through
Yes.
look through all this, the exercise only took what, like 10, 15 minutes to go through. Now you can see all the past accomplishments that also shows all the skills that you have. You said that for a long time you done public speaking. So clearly you have the skills. I watched your some of your videos that you post on YouTube, and I've told you from the beginning, when you speak and you speak about a subject where you have so much knowledge, it's a total different you. Is you have the skill to speak on camera, you know how to speak. The other skills, like technical skills, like the software, or how we use, the what software we use, how we create the video, or all the other details about YouTube videos, they're on the side. But this showed you the skills that you have, and this is the power, because we need to acknowledge this is our toolbox that we need to take
Mm.
advantage of. So I'm amazed about it, Q. I was just
No,
to
thank you
say
so much.
I'm surprised.
I feel like for the last 4 to 5 years since I've been on this path of, personal development and learning more about myself, I feel like I've kind of narrowed down on the parts of me that need to be acknowledged and they need growth, which is a good thing. But then at the same time, I've ignored my accomplishments. I've ignored what
Mm,
I've ignored what I've done, and I've been so focused on, okay, I need to work on this, I need to work on this, I need to work on this, that I have completely like sidelined the parts of me that have gotten me here.
exactly. When what we tend to focus on, that's what we're drawn onto. So if we
Mm.
focus more on failure, on lack, on the skills that we don't have, we're gonna unfortunately, we are gonna make more and more mistakes, the confirmation bias. We're gonna make more and more mistakes that will confirm that we don't have the skills, the abilities, the tools, whatever we need to be successful, which in reality is not true. We need to focus on what we want to become, so we know what we need to build, what skills we need to develop, what characteristics we need to develop in order to become that person. If we focus on the mistakes, I work with so many athletes, and I took so many athletes from competing at beginner level to being on the podium international at World's European Championship. And one of the heavy, heavy work that I've done with them was their focus, attention, what they focus on, because
Mm.
in the competition, the athletes tend to focus on what are others competitors doing. And I said, the minute
Mm.
you are focusing on what others are doing, you are giving your energy away, because they're focusing on themselves, and instead of you focusing 100% on the work that you have to do to give yourself 100% to that task, you are focusing on them, and you give them power, because they'll focus 100, they are 100% on the job, but you are only 60% on the job. So you give them power. It's the same in the business. The more you focus on what others will say about you, what skills you don't have, how do I look on the camera? Oh my God, have I given enough? Have I done this, and that? You are not focused on the things that you have to do to build the business, to build the successful person that you have to be to run a successful business. You're not focused on the skills that you need to build. Yeah. So
Yes.
that's why this exercise is exposing, is showing you the whole you, what you already have, who you are already. So now you know, instead of worrying that who am I and what do I have, now you know
Mm.
100% this is me, this is the actual version of me, that's what I want to become, and this is what I need to build. So my focus is on what I need to build. Yeah.
100%, 100%, 100%. No, I want you to know that I walked away truly feeling empowered. This was an
Mm.
empowering experience.
Mm.
So when you asked me about, expand on the physical
Yeah.
attributes, I
Yeah.
never paid attention to that because I'm somebody that grew up with a lot of insecurities around this particular
Hmm.
topic. So I had to sit down with this one. And then I wrote it down and I'm going to just read it off to you.
Okay.
I'm petite, I'm a brunette, I'm
Mm.
high contrast, I have short hair, and I am a bit on the chubbier side of the spectrum.
It's okay.
But this was a fun exercise. I'm glad I did this. And then within the daily activities, I scored a 0 when I initially did the exercise.
Hmm.
So when I expanded upon this,
Hmm.
um, I am very much into cleaning and tidying up my place, taking care of my toddler. I love cooking. This is another creativity outlet for me. And just making sure that my space is welcoming, clean, nurturing, and a supportive, safe environment for my toddler and people
Bless,
around me.
bless you. Well done. Well done on thinking about this and being able to acknowledge this side of you, which is it's lovely because
Yes.
we're not just one person and we're not just entrepreneurs. I know our mind is always on the business because this is what we do, this is what supports our life, but we're not just that.
Yes.
So now for step number 3, you have to choose one action to focus on. One or two, I mean, not action, but elements that you want to focus on to develop. Did you choose any of them?
For me, I actually chose that I am actually going to put some time and energy into taking care of my body because it's directly linked to, my feel good factor, and it
Absolutely.
that is directly linked to my confidence and
Absolutely.
my, energy. And that
Hmm.
is the one thing that I'm going to start paying attention to is that I'm going to start taking care of my body when it comes to food, when it comes to hygiene, when it comes to how what I put inside my head and what I put inside my stomach.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's that and the way it's about also subconsciously the mind registered how you treat yourself, the things that you deserve, because you deserve to feel good. You deserve to receive good things. You deserve to be healthy, to feel healthy. And this also leads to your ability to think clearly and be creative and have a different energy when you go out there on camera speaking to people. Well done. This was a big exercise. I'm sure that you went through an emotional roller coaster for this exercise. So, what is the next step now? What we have to do? Why, like I said, we want to focus on our self-concept because this is the basis of everything that we do. If our self-concept is not healthy, that is going to limit the way we see ourselves in the future, the vision of ourselves, who we want to become, and how we want to build our business. Because if we don't believe that we're good enough, we can speak on camera. I don't know, we have the enough skills and abilities, then we don't believe that we can build our business to the level where we want to be. So now, okay, now that we have the healthy version of our self-concept, what is the next step to do? The next step to do is to also look again in the past to identify patterns in the past to see where it all came from, the events. And usually when we think in the past, so for you, you had to go through this exercise as well, and it's called your timeline. We have to draw a line to put the date when we were born and today's date, and then to fill it in with events that we remember the most. And if you can also to, if you can remember how it made you feel, what you thought about during the event, after the event, the thoughts that you had about you yourself and then those around you, the people around you. So this exercise normally, when we had traumatic events to a smaller or a higher degree, we remember them as the first events because they're traumatic and our mind register so that next time when it happens, you might remember faster. Oh, this happened in the past, it hurt me like this, so now it's about to happen again. What are you going to do? So when we do this exercise, we tend to write down to remember the events that were most impactful for us. And this shows us how we see the world. When this person did this or said this event happened, and this is how it affected me. So now your mind in the future is when something similar will happen, regardless of if it's a totally different person, it will have a totally different event, or maybe it's just how you perceive the event in the past. In the future, you'll respond the same. Your nervous system will respond the same. You tend to freeze, to run, to attack, to do the same things like you learned to do in the past. So now we want to identify the patterns. What type of events, people, situations will activate your nervous system, the unhelpful patterns that you react to freeze, not wanting to put yourself in front of the camera as a coach, not wanting to respond to text messages, not wanting to have to do anything with your business. Okay? So have you done this exercise as well?
Yes.
Okay.
This exercise was a one where I had to take several breaks
That's
because
good. Mhm.
some events were extremely painful for me to remember. But of course, like I wanted to go through it so I can see, um, what this exercise was about. And again, after going through it, I had to create two different pages. I realized that after a certain time, everything was a pattern. Everything was a pattern.
Yes.
The way I was predicting things, the way the things were happening, my reactions, you know, everything was a pattern.
Yes.
And I literally had to sit with this heavy feeling for so long. And I don't know, I wish that I had the support and the mentorship that I needed at the time. So none of this got internalized as intensely.
Mm-hmm.
It is in my system, even though I have the support now and I'm working toward, de-intensifying it. But it's just, I feel like I'm looking at myself and I'm realizing that I've lived in pure survival for so long, where everything was literally on autopilot.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not gonna go into right now into the events of your life. We're gonna keep it for you, but I'm happy that you said that by doing the exercise, you identified the patterns. Everything you saw that it was a pattern, which is the exact purpose of the exercise. Um, Also in here, the exercise is taking you one step away from what happened and kind of force you to think now broadly, to feel in other events, to put in to think like to actually think about the situations, take a step back and think, okay, what else happened in my life? What else positive, happy happened in my life? Have you done this? And did you find out other events, positive events?
Yes, yes, there were a lot of positive events, but I think the intensity of the negative events was so high that maybe they got internalized
Mhm.
harder than the
Absolutely.
joyous events.
Absolutely. This happens because remember our brain's number one role is to keep us alive. So it's remembering all this what we perceive as being negative. So next time when it happens, it can spot it faster and it's able to take action faster. So that's why we remember we internalize them like this. Um, so that being said, for this part and for this negative event, can you identify triggers now? What can trigger you in this moment to remember the events in the past? Have you been able to identify it?
Yes. So I feel like since I'm somebody that has been doing extremely heavy therapeutic work for some time,
Right?
I have been able to identify a lot of my triggers and I see
Okay.
them for what they are and I know where they come from. But there's this one fear that is at the base of all fears that I
Right.
have recently discovered. And this is like my fear of being seen,
Okay.
that I have not been able to unpack on my own
Right.
because it just brings up a lot of physical discomfort. And
Right.
it's specifically tied to one event.
Okay.
And the intensity of it, the whirlwind, the tornado that
Right.
came with that event, I think it got internalized in my body so deep that the imprints of the aftermath are like, I feel like they're embedded in my bone marrow. The
Mm-hmm.
fear is just, it comes from a very deep place that even speaking about it, my body is just like tightening up. Like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
somebody's pressing upon my rib cage.
Okay. Um, okay, for this, because you mentioned also a few times your fear of being seen in our very first session. So I think this is something more deeper that needs more time to talk about it, to discuss about it. So I think our next session will be purely focused on the fear of being seen. Um, if you feel comfortable talking about the event in the past that you've been through and what it means to you, try to unpack what happened to understand what is it that your mind registers now and how it reacts now and what you can do to 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 eliminate this fear, if we can say it so, to work it through.
Mm.
What do you think about this?
Sure,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Okay.
But here's the thing though, every
Yeah.
time I like, this is what has happened. Let me close my eyes so I
Okay.
can say it without
Okay.
experiencing the fear in my eyes. Here's the thing though, a lot of times I wanted to pull up the camera and record it, but I couldn't. The avoidance within me was literally turning into a gin that would pull me back and it would make me do anything but confront my fears. Like
Mhm.
the avoidance within me regarding this particular topic is so high that I've never experienced anything like this before.
Okay. Do you think that you would be able to, if we book after we finish this session, if we book our next call, would you be able to turn up to the session?
Um, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna tell myself that I don't have to look my best. I don't have to, I just have to show up.
Yeah.
I could be looking like absolute, you know, XYZ, whatever.
Mm.
But I just have to show up and I have to
Yeah.
show up for myself because I need to unpack this. Because
Okay.
I feel like everything that I want is on the other side of this fear.
Yeah.
And facing this fear is like climbing Mount Everest without oxygen.
Yes, absolutely. I I feel you because this is also my struggle. During childhood, I've been through situations where I felt like I didn't fit in. I've been judged a lot, criticized a lot for everything I was doing. I never belonged to a group of people, a group of friends. I was kind of on my own all the time. And the reason why I am in this position now, working with coaches, it's because I struggle with these feelings when I started my sports coaching business, mindset sports coaching business. I knew that I had to post content to speak with people to, to put myself out there. But when it came to recording a video, posting something, I had the same feeling, and I was going through, okay, from Monday, I will dedicate myself like 2 hours every day to post a piece of content, and it was just a minute. It would take me about 2 hours to create 1 minute video for Instagram. I was not even on YouTube. And I was going for a week, maybe two, and then disappearing for 2, 3 weeks. and then back again, and so on and so forth. So I struggle with this, and I know the feeling very well. I know that I have to, and then I was getting myself busy with so many other things that I thought that I have to do in my business and not posting content. So I know very well how much this affects us, especially in business. Uh, but that being said, for today, I wanted to take you, okay, so that you've been through this exercise, what are you going to do with this exercise? What's the next step for you? So what I'm gonna suggest now for you, maybe you can apply it as well before our next call. So we're making sure that you come on the session and we do the session together. So to recap, the 4 steps were to first to create a healthy self-concept, which you've done through the first part of the exercise. The second one was to identify patterns in the past, and through the patterns to also identify triggers. And now the fourth step is for you to write your emergency plan. And the emergency plan, when similar situation happens, when you acknowledge the trigger, what are you going to do with this? Did you write your emergency plan? Now, just to briefly say, this emergency plan, it can be one focused on the one element that you want to grow, that you discover from the self-concept. It can be focused on one area of your life, saying for business, if I want to develop my business and I'll have these triggers, falling into these patterns, what I'm going to do. Or it can be broadly. Broadly is a bit harder to follow through. So I recommend choose one area of your life that you want to work on right now. So did you write your emergency plan?
So the emergency plan for me
Yeah.
regarding my business is that, of course, like I have, my fears, I have my, this deep desire to do well. And sometimes I end up internalizing things extremely intensely and I start seeing myself as a failure. So the emergency plan is that I'm not going to let any negative emotions get internalized.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to like sit with that discomfort and I'm going to bring myself to safety, even if I have to seek external support. Even if that means that I have to pick up and call somebody on the crisis line, if I can't, somebody in my surroundings, I would do that. The goal is to not let those feelings get internalized because they're going to activate something within me that's going to take me back into avoidance. The goal is to sit with my discomfort and bring myself back to safety and then truly, journal it out. Okay, if XYZ said this,
Mm-hmm.
I initially perceived it like this, but what are some of the other ways to look at the same thing
Mm-hmm.
and create several other options of what else could she mean by this objection that she made in this business?
Perfect.
So broaden my everything within my head and start seeing things through other lights and not just, oh my God, she came at me and I'm bad.
Okay. That's perfect. That's a very, very important part to do, to being able to sit down with yourself and think it through, think it critically. Now, I'll give you 2 other tools that you can use, because if the trigger activates the old patterns, it will be a little bit hard for you to actually think clearly and behave, think, act differently than what you've done in the past. In the moment when it happens, no matter how much we say that, okay, if this thing happen again, I will react differently right now, it will be so hard because your nervous system, with everything that it's got, is trying to pull you to the same old behaviors, the same old thinking. And when that happens, our brain, we activate our reptilian brain, which is the emotional brain, and we think in emotions. We don't think clearly, rationally anymore to say that, okay, this happened in the past, but remember now, it's not like that, it's like this, and we have to do this. It's not going to work. That being said, we have to do training before the actual event happens. And to do so, we have the 2 tools. First is relaxation, to be able to relax your body, to put yourself, not to be activated, to be in the fight or flight or freeze mode. So relaxation, you can do simply through breathing. You can put some nice music on. Any type of relaxation. The general one, it's through breathing. You can, through the breathe out, you can think of one word to say, like relax, or to imagine a light that comes in your body as you breathe in and then leaves your body, taking out the negative energy as you breathe out. So any type of breathing that you want to do, and then visualization. Visualize you have two types of visualization. One is your future self, what you want to build, how you want to behave, to act, to be on the camera, to speak on the camera. And the second one will be, how will I react differently in these situations? If I want to record a video and if I start having this feeling, how am I going to react? What am I going to do? I'm going to make sure, this is an example. I'm going to make sure that in the space where I'm recording my videos, usually I have a pen and paper. If I start feeling anxious, I'm going to write my feelings and I'm going to read through. When you write down and you read it through, you're actually able to see that, oh, this sounds a little bit crazy to think like this, to feel like this. Yeah. Or if I start feeling like this again, I'm going to pause it for 5 minutes and I'm going to breathe in and out and tell myself that everything is okay. Now I'm acting from my future self version. You know that your future self, it's someone confident that brings positive energy on the camera. And on the camera, when you speak, you're not there to be criticized by others, but you're there to help others. You are sharing because your message, it might help just one person in this world, that by applying the things I say, you can change someone's life through a message. And you think it through, think about it from that perspective. Okay? So to recap, one, you said that you are going to write down about you, but then the other two tools, it's relaxation and visualization. Visualization of future self and visualization of how you're going to react differently in those situations. Yeah. And
100%.
I suggest you practice this daily. Take 10-15 minutes daily when you have time for yourself. I know that you have a little daughter, so take some time for yourself. Yeah.
100%. 100%. No, this is amazing. I want you to know that this exercise brought so many things to the light that were
Mm.
hiding somewhere in the background and they were pulling the strings. And
Yeah.
I feel like for the first time, I'm seeing them for what they are. And I'm like,
Mm.
I can't believe you've been hiding for so long. And now that I
Bless you.
see you, I'm gonna be watching it for you. So
Bless you.
this was really good. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It really opened up my eyes in so many different aspects.
Yeah. I'm so happy you say this, Q. Um, so yeah, I'm happy that you can see yourself for the whole person that you are, because you're so much more than this. And I could see, although
100%.
we never met in person, but through our interaction, what we discussed, I could see in you so much more than what you put yourself in the box. So congratulations for this, because it's not easy to be
Yes.
to have the willingness to face your emotions. So congratulations again.
Awesome,
Um,
awesome. This was a pleasure. Thank you so much for the opportunity and thank you so much for working with me and thank you so much
my
for,
pleasure.
creating this space where hopefully we'll be able to inspire other people to do the work and look within and see that they are so much more than
Mm.
what they think they are. So this is
Bless,
amazing.
bless you. Thank you to Q, and congratulations to you for doing the work that needs to be done. It's not easy.
Absolutely.
So I'll catch you up in the next session then, where we're going to talk about the fear of being seen. Yeah, and make sure
Absolutely.
you apply this free exercises that we just discussed. So we make sure that you're going to be on the session and do them.
100%, 100%. I'll see you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Speak
Take
to you,
care.
Q.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Have a good day. Bye bye.
You too. Bye-bye.